Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to completely unpack the life cycle of a mutual fund distributor here in India. Have you ever actually wondered how these professionals operate behind the scenes? Like how they really get paid or the incredibly strict rules they have to follow when handling your hard-earned money? Well, we're going to demystify the whole shebang today, straight from the source material. Let's dive in.
So here's a quick roadmap for our journey today. We'll kick things off with their matchmaking role, then look at channels and platforms, how they actually become qualified, how they earn revenue, the regulatory guardrails, and finally, the big legal difference between distributors and advisors.
All right, part one, the matchmaking role. Let's look at exactly how distributors bridge the gap in the financial ecosystem. Just look at the flow of information here. It's pretty fascinating. Over on the right, you've got the fund manager. They spend all day, every day, analyzing the market, the economy, crunching the numbers on specific companies. But on the left, that's the investor. Regular people who don't have time for that because they're busy living their lives. They have personal goals, risk limits, and very specific financial needs. The distributor sits right smack in the middle. They analyze the investor's situation to find the perfect mutual fund to bridge that gap. It's basically high-stakes financial matchmaking.
Moving right along to Section 2, Channels and Platforms. How exactly are these matchmakers reaching us today?
The distribution landscape is massive and honestly, super varied. On one hand, you have the traditional channels. This could be a solo agent running an independent shop, all the way up to huge multinational or public sector banks. But what's really interesting is the massive digital shift. Transactions happen seamlessly now on these giant stock exchange platforms. You've got the Bombay Stock Exchange's BSE Star platform and the National Stock Exchange's NSE FPII. Basically, these let distributors route your orders digitally, which means way faster execution and, thankfully, zero paperwork for you.
Okay, Part 3, Becoming Qualified. Let's quickly examine the mandatory steps to get into this business.
Because you absolutely cannot just print up some snazzy business cards and start taking people's money. There is a mandatory four-step gauntlet you have to run. First, you've got to clear the NISM Series V-A exam to prove you actually know your stuff technically. Second, you have to go through a Know Your Distributor, or KYD, process, which literally includes biometric verification. Third, you register with AMFI to get your unique ARN identifier. And finally, you have to formally impanel with the asset management companies, filling out all these extensive declarations promising you'll play by the ethical rules. Only then are you actually in business.
All right, Section 4. This is the juicy part. Earning revenue, specifically trail commissions.
So, here is a massive game changer. SEBI, the market regulator, mandates a full trail model for all schemes. They explicitly ban any upfront commissions. I mean, think about that. In so many other industries, a salesperson gets a huge, fat check the second you sign on the dotted line, right? Not here. SEBI completely wiped that out to ensure the distributors' incentives are perfectly aligned with your long-term success.
So instead of that upfront payday, they earn what's called a trail commission. This means their revenue is tied directly to the ongoing daily value of your holdings in the fund. If you stay invested and your portfolio grows, their income grows. If you leave or the market completely tanks, well, their income drops too. It totally transforms them from a hit-and-run salesperson into an ongoing stakeholder in your financial health.
And what's really cool is how transparent the math is on this. Say on August 1st, the net asset value is 10 rupees. Fast forward to August 11th, it's 10.15 rupees. The trail commission is calculated every single day based on that exact fluctuating value, and then divided by 365. It's just a tiny daily trickle that accumulates over the month. No hidden fees, just straightforward math tied entirely to market performance.
Which brings us to Part 5, the regulatory guardrails. Let's see how SEBI enforces investor protection here.
For instance, look at these disclosure rules. SEBI does not mess around. AMCs are legally required to publicly post the exact commissions they pay to large distributors. If a distributor has more than 20 locations, or they manage over 100 crores in retail money, or they pull in more than 1 crore in total industry commissions, boom, their earnings become public knowledge. For us investors, this level of transparency guarantees that massive distribution networks can't hide any shady sweetheart deals from you. On top of that, these large distributors face super strict due diligence checks. The AMCs have to actively audit them to see if they are fit and proper. They check their business model, look for past legal troubles, and, this is absolutely crucial, the distributor must prove there's a complete firewall between their sales teams and their customer risk evaluation teams. You literally cannot have the person assessing your risk appetite be the exact same person desperate to close a high-commission sale. Almost at the end. Section 6, Distributor versus Advisor. This is a vitally important legal distinction.
There is a massive legal wall separating these two. A mutual fund distributor executes sales and they earn those trail commissions we talked about. Any advice they give can only be incidental to that sale. Basically, they just check to ensure the product isn't wildly unsuitable for your risk level. But a registered investment advisor, an RIA, they provide pure advice for a flat fee directly from you, and they are legally forbidden from earning any distribution commissions. Actually, a distributor can never ever legally call themselves an advisor. They are two entirely different animals.
And SEBI backs this up with some serious teeth. If a distributor steps out of line, like ignoring basic product suitability, hiding the risks, or making up wild claims about a fund's future returns, they trigger severe penalties for mis-selling. They absolutely cannot promise you the moon just to capture that ongoing trail commission. The advice might be incidental, but it 100% must be honest.
But hey, despite all these strict rules, the system actually offers incredible flexibility. You, the investor, have total control. You can switch distributors whenever you want without asking permission. There's no objection certificate needed from your old distributor. And the system protects the good professionals too. Distributors can actually nominate their legal heirs to keep receiving those hard-earned trail commissions even after they pass away, which provides real security for their families.
Which leaves us with this final thought to consider about the ecosystem we've unpacked today. Now that you've seen the full life cycle, from those rigorous entry exams to the totally transparent daily calculated trail commissions, what's your take? If a distributor's entire livelihood relies on you staying invested, behaving well during market panics, and actively growing your wealth over decades, does that structure make them just another salesperson, or are they really your ultimate long-term financial partner? Think about that. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I will see